Ava verachamim chesed l'shalom. Boker Tov, good morning. How good it is to be together. The sun is shining. We are midway through the week. It's almost time, by this afternoon we can start saying Shabbat Shalom. And before we know it, it'll be the weekend. It's like time is creeping and flying all at the same time. And so here we are in the next book of Torah, the first story in the book of Leviticus, the middle, so to speak, of Torah. Third book out of the 5. And Vayikra is something a little different, something interesting. I was thinking that I should go back to my teaching from 2020. So I remember vividly being so great. But I thought in order to go back and find that exact video, forget it. I'll just go with, what I'm remembering of it, and realizing that it's still so poignant in this moment. So Torah is interesting. Torah is different. Torah has some, I wouldn't call them idiosyncrasies because, well, they're there specifically for reasons that are for our understanding. But sometimes things are dramatic. Sometimes the spacing between the words is done on purpose. Sometimes there's a really small letter. Sometimes there's something big. Sometimes words are singled out. Sometimes the placements of the words are intentional. And so Vayikra, this week's Parsha, the first word of the first book, is also something different. And the different is that the aleph at the end of the word is small. The aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the aleph is much smaller than all of the other letters. Notice him right here. Vayikra. So, what is it all about? Why am I even talking about one little letter in the Torah? So, I would say that Moses is at the center of his career, the peak of his accomplishments. Listen, we're out of Egypt, we're out of Mitzrayim. Are we really in real life in today's time? No, we're still here. There are still Hamans of today. There are still pharaohs of today. But Moses in Torah time has led us out of Egypt, guided us through revelation, through receiving Torah at Sinai, and successfully instructed the Israelites how to build the place where God would dwell, in the Mishkan. So in this portion of Vayikra, something that sticks out is that aleph in the Hebrew spelling of the word Vayikra. And so this tiny aleph, it's like the little engine that could. This tiny aleph is a sign of humility. Moses is about to be up for the greatest challenge yet. I mean, his other challenges were pretty significant, pretty amazing, pretty unbelievable, pretty difficult, I would say. Especially for someone who never felt like he was up for the task, but there he was, showing up for it. And so, what is the greatest challenge? He was going to have to teach the Jews of their true mission. He was going to have to say, listen, in order to be a holy people, this is what it's going to look like. To be Am Kadosh, a holy people. As the book of Vayikra unfolds, we learn about this mission. It says, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord, or I, God, your God, am holy. This is the realization, this moment, this blip in time, this word, one phrase of text, is the realization that we have to be fully aware of our potential because we are created in God's image. So if God is holy, God, our God, is holy, then we too, after being created B'Tselem Elohim in God's image, are holding what are the demands of being godlike. So we can't just say, oh, I'm this person, and yet not hold on to the characteristics of that person. Very similarly to, if we're created in the image of God, then the qualities of God are part of who we are in our existence. If we are being told, if we're being charged with that we should be Kadosh, that we should be a holy people, like God, you should be holy because I, God, your God, am holy. If you want to be like me, then together we have to be as holy as we can be. But those demands are tough. Obedience and sacrifice and faith and determination needs to be at the core of our existence, for that is the core of what a holy people created in the image of God is. That's what it's about. And so in this Parsha Vayikra, and the whole book of Leviticus, I would say, is hard to connect with for many people. It's not just humility, being that little olive that could, holding so much weight, yet finding ourselves as humble servants or partners with God. In the book of Leviticus, so there's some people that say Leviticus is the hardest book to attach to. There are some people that say Exodus, the book of Shemot, the book of that we just came out of, is incredibly boring because now they got to tell you 19 different ways and 2 different whole times about creating this Mishkan and each piece of wood and each measurement and all of that. And it's, who wants to hear that again? It's all detailed. But in this book, people also have a hard time because it talks about sacrifices. It talks about animal sacrifice and different types of sacrifices. They're all different kinds, which is hard. It talks about diseases. It talks about, being part of the community. And there's a lot. But I would say maybe if you're, a B mitzvah student, it's a lot because some of the things are not anything you want to be talking about when you're 12 or 13 years old. But the book of Leviticus, the book of Vayikra, has a lot of offerings for us to connect with. So the discussion about the korbanot, or the sacrifices, or the offering of sacrifices, what should be offered, how it should be offered, doesn't necessarily apply to us in these moments. It doesn't. We don't do these things. I mean, maybe there are some that do, but there's humane societies and things like we can't do the things that maybe they were doing then. But there are ways for us to relate to it. The word korban, or sacrifice, comes from the same root, kuf resh vet, karev, meaning to draw close. It was said that they would offer these things in order not only as an offering for a sin. I did something wrong, so I'm going to offer something to God. God will forgive me, and that will be it. Maybe they were thinking that in its simplest form. But we know that if we need to draw close, that there needs to be some sort of action. If the mission was to be Am Kadosh, a holy people, to draw close to God, it seems as a fitting correlation to say, we don't need to sacrifice an animal anymore, or a grain, or our favorite pair of socks, whatever it is. In place of bulls and wheat, fruit, we have our hearts, our minds, and our lips. We connect with God wherever we are, anywhere, at any moment. And we gather in prayer, avodah, and we have a deeper connection with God. We pray, we hope, we dream that God will accept our prayers, be it praise or desire, or moments of thanksgiving, that we're so grateful for that which what we have. Just as God accepted the sacrifices of our ancestors in a different form. Rabbi Jay's Rebbe, Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi, said, you have to pray loud enough so your own ears can hear the prayers. When you make it from your mouth, you move it from the cerebral into the affective level. If the ear hears what the mouth is saying, then the mouth will be saying what the heart wants it to say. There's no such thing. Well, there's a lot of things. I shouldn't say there's no such thing because it happens every day. But the actual connection, or the effective connection, we'll say, effective level, is not lip service, right? We know that lip service doesn't work. It works in the immediate, but it doesn't hold itself as truth. What we're saying is our heart needs to be in the right place so that what comes out of our lips will be holy words. Holy words are words that are our truths, that come from our heart. We think about them, we think about them, we think about them. The lips are in the midpoint between the brain and the heart. What we say, sometimes if it comes straight from the brain, it might not actually be how we truly feel. The thoughts that come, the feelings that come from the heart, come out through our lips, are the words of our own offerings. The Am Kadosh, the holy people, are the ways that we become holy for God by finding our own connection to God in different ways. Leadership ways, regular people that just want to do good, and the balance between being here and being here is being somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle are the individual, inclusive, diverse humans that we are. God's world is created for us. If we're the holy people, let's be it in the world. We all hope and pray that in our time that we can change what we see in God's world. Let's end the sacrificing. There's human sacrificing. It's happening every day. Start praying for that which is in our hearts, paired with the actions that reflect holiness for the good of the whole world. And we say, Amen. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you. We love our time together. We love learning together. We love showing up for one another. The rest of this week, tomorrow at 11:30, I'm going to post about it. I'm just waiting to see where the connection link is going to be. I'm going to be doing a funeral, and I'm going to hope to ask these people if we can do it as part of the funeral also, but not sure. But tomorrow at 11:30 is Universal Shema. And so the Shema is going to be davened from the Kotel with hostage families, and they're calling for all around the world at 11:30 that we stop and say Shema together. Whether we're alone, whether we're in a group of people, whether you're in your office, in your car, in your house, at a doctor's appointment, or wherever you are, there should be a link to the Kotel that is coming out, but it's not here yet. So as soon as we have that link, I will share that as well. And if you can't get the link, at least at 11:30, that we should be declaring Shema. And so we hope that you'll take part in that. Our connection continues as it always does on Friday, 7:30, right here on YouTube and Facebook. Also Saturday morning at 9:30. And that at 8 p.m. on Saturday night, we will be doing Havdalah and Megillah. And so we hope that you will join us for that as well. And I will send out that information. Am Yisrael Chai. Let's continue to be Am Kadosh, the holy people of oneness. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai.